Yes.
Yeah.
They were
Same thing when they
this.
say Mexicans are stealing American jobs. Why? That's not even happening. But if that happened, why are you blaming the people, the workers, instead of these companies who are doing the hiring?
Right.
Where is your...
They're the ones hiring Mexicans because they don't have to have as many regulations over someone who's like not even legally here. They're invisible. Which
let's call it what it is. The Republicans and Democrats want cheap labor. They do not want to pay the American worker the money. So if I can get this person for, look what happened with construction. Some of your biggest construction workers used to be blacks. When they found that they can get that guy from Mexico and bring him over for cheaper, I can get 4 or 5 guys for $5-6 an hour when I had to pay this one guy $15-20 an hour. I'll tell you, what am I going to do? I'm going to go over and get these four guys, and they had someone run it, and that's what really destroyed a lot of your construction business. And
right. Well,
because they wanted cheap labor.
The companies are exploiting.
That's what you blame it.
But you look at a company like Costco, where the CEO doesn't make what's generally understood as CEO money.
Oh, like
here
Walmart?
In the States.
You mean like Walmart?
Or
CVS Pharmacy?
Exactly. But Costco apparently has a great benefits program for their workers. And compared to Walmart and Sam's Club,
hell, In-N-Out Burger has a great program for their workers,
and
they do.
That's the thing is, yes, you can save money by hiring. I don't think you can even call them unskilled labor anymore because they are skilled. But by hiring under the table and paying substandard wages. And you can save money like that, but you can build a better business.
Well, you also privatize everything.
By taking care of your employees.
Well, if you think about what you're doing,
incentives.
When you pay more money, you're going to get better workers. Not to put down the other people, but who's going to take the cheaper jobs? And it's people who are more desperate, people who other people won't hire. That's why they are taking those cheap jobs. So if you pay a wage premium, if you pay that $16 an hour for someone to work at Costco, you're going to get someone who's worth $16 an hour. Because
where's the cinnamon hat? They aren't going to send you to the auto parts.
The average
section.
construction worker today, American construction worker, is almost 28 years old when he used to be 18 years old. Because when you left high school, if you didn't want to go to regular school, just go to you could go to a vocational school and learn a trade. That's not a high school. They privatized all that and charged everyone. And that's where that con came in. So what did you do? You turned everybody else to consumers, and you made them to the point that you want this, to get this. How badly do you want it? You put a value on it, and you jack the price up, and you privatize everything that they could privatize. They did it, and that was right. When I was in high school, you had mechanics. A woman could be a nurse by 19.
Yeah.
A full nurse.
I actually was talking to a woman yesterday. She's an LVN. She went to school for 1 year to become an LVN, and she's
LVN?
Nurse.
Yeah. What's the LV stand for?
It's
licensed vocational nurse.
So it's not the same as being an RN.
It's below RN. And she makes really good money at it. But so she went to school for 1 year to do that, and it cost almost $30,000 total. That's what I paid for a master's degree, and she paid that for an LVN.
And how many years? How old is she?
She's 26, and she did this out of high school.
Out of high school.
But I'm still astounded at the cost of that, given that it's
look
not
at it.
a big old, degree. It's like an associate's degree. It doesn't seem like it's a fair price.
No, they just raised the tuition on the kids here in California, 5%. If you look at LA Valley College looks like it's a 2-year school, looks like a 4-year school. Why? Why do you have all these different things? And now who's going to pay for that? You're going to charge it to the student. And then they walk away. Can you imagine walking away from a 2-year school with $100,000 sitting around your neck? You only school for 2 years. You got almost $100,000 sitting around your neck to go to school. But the administrator is making $300,000 or $400,000 a year. That's where that money's going.
And they don't need to. They don't need to.
No.
It's disgusting.
I used to work for this nonprofit organization. 7 people staff. 7 people staff. And we were worked to the end of like I had no life because they were working us so hard. It's like because you think it's a startup, like, oh, you have to wear many hats. Yeah, sure. But it was to the point that it was taking our life from us, where we had to ask the CEO, like, could you please stop texting us on Sunday morning? You know what I mean? And the CEO of this nonprofit was making this more money than the CEO of World Vision.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't think people really look at even nonprofits of how much money people in nonprofits make. Yeah, they make a killing.
The organization is nonprofit.
Yeah.
The executives.
Nonprofit means like the
so
social workers. We get paid nothing. That's what they mean by nonprofit. Tax. That's what they mean. It means that that your on the ground worker are poor, but the IT staff and the CEO, they do great.
Yeah.
That's what that means. That's what that means.
The guy for United Way really makes good money. Yeah.
Salvation Army is a powerful agency. You know.
Now, who would have thought that? Who would have thought that that's where a guy would be making $3 or $4 million a year for a nonprofit?
But they're not the ones out there ringing the bell, annoying people during the Christmas season.
But the workers, what, $11.75? Oh, we don't have money. We're a nonprofit. $11.75 for the workers.
Oh, gosh, that's ridiculous.
And that's the thing. I mean, they forget that there are some of us who are going to actually read. And there are those of us who are walking around who are totally distracted. And we all have cell phones, but we're not walking into manhole covers and manholes, and we're that focused, and that we're not.
Although maybe we should, because there's a lot of money to be made on YouTube for doing that.
Oh yeah, I did. Speaking of YouTube, I did want them to get the guy who was surfing outside his truck. He was hanging outside the truck, and someone's filming him, and all this stuff. And I just said, either let a truck come by and someone yank him, or take him out or something, because why? And it's all for the
Did you
YouTube.
see the one? There was someone who filled the back of a pickup truck with like the little the smushy things where you add water and then they like puff up like little gel balls.
Right.
Those. And so he filled the back of the truck with that and put some kids in there and a GoPro and drove them around, and the kids were like sloshing in there. Anyways, they got arrested for child endangerment.
Yes. Yes.
Entertainment has its price, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Well, all right, so we're going to move on to the next issue, but kind of coming in from where we were talking about getting what you pay for in terms of labor, infrastructure is a big issue, and one of the things that Trump campaigned on that is still getting, pushed back, because after he failed with health care, now he's going to attempt to fail with tax reform. And we'll fail on infrastructure later. He says he wants to do it. The House and the Senate are like, yeah, we got time. Meanwhile, this week in Atlanta, I don't know if you guys saw this on the
fire
news, but the big fire on the bridge, and God, so many thoughts came into my head because you saw this bridge burning and collapsing. And my first thought was, where are the 9/11 truthers to see what happens when steel melts?
Right.
Because I don't think the bridge collapsing was an inside job. But that's just me. But the larger issue is that this is part of our country's failing infrastructure.
Yeah. And the homeless burned
That's terrifying.
When was it? I think 2015, Obama signed a 5-year infrastructure bill, $305 billion, even though all the analysis said to really do anything significant to improve the infrastructure in the country, it's going to take at least 400.
Oh boy.
So, of course, the Republican Congress said, well, all right, good. We'll help you fail. Here's 300. Deal with it. And so we're seeing this. We were talking about this before the show. Here in California, Jerry Brown, our governor, has proposed a new tax, 12 cents a gallon on gasoline, increasing the cost for registering a car, more fees. What can we do? Because I think as Californians, we know we're paying our taxes, and we were talking earlier about Denmark. What is this an issue of people not paying enough taxes, or is this an issue of our tax dollars not being used?
Well, I think
it's the waste
productively.
not being used.
I think right, and they're not, because there are a lot of opportunities. You keep changing taxes, they keep going up, and nothing's getting done.
No, yeah.
You know, I mean, people's cars are getting tripped. And I know Jerry wants us out of our cars so he can make us into this, you know, you can get rid of traffic and all this. And it's not going to happen. These people are not going to give up their cars. Nobody wants to live in Fontana. No one wants to live in Santa Ana. No one
someone's
got to
make the math.
In Lancaster. My brother lives in Lancaster. I don't see him. Okay? I don't see him at all. They call them desert black people out there. They don't even see them because they're out in the desert. Why would you move out there? I want a home. Yeah, but you never see your home because you're on the road most of the time.
Well, and also for listeners who aren't in Southern California, what you have to understand about L.A. specifically is that dating someone on the other side of town could be considered a long-distance relationship.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is. I live in Pasadena, and my boyfriend lives in Westlake, and we have to make special plans to see each other. It's like a long-distance relationship. It's the weirdest. Yeah. It's not even that far. It's 30 minutes away if there's no traffic.
One time?
Huh?
He lives in Thousand Oaks?
Lives in Westlake?
Westlake
Look right here.
Westlake Village.
That's
okay.
here. There's a
I think Westlake Village is over there.
Yeah.
And yet I have to travel and travel and travel.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Like if there's traffic, because I was working in West Hollywood. Yeah. So basically here, if there's distance.
It's tough. One time I was in West Hollywood, and this guy in Brentwood area wanted me to come hang out with him and get drinks. And then I realized I would have to take the 101 to the 405. And that's like basically backtracking and then over down there and get off on like Wilshire. And anyways, it was so upsetting. I almost canceled.
Yeah. Oh my God. I actually,
no.
I once got dumped by a guy because he lived in Santa Monica. And he was just like, there's just no way I could date a girl in Pasadena. That's not happening. He like literally, it was like 2 years ago. Things were going great. And then he's like, I don't think this is working. And I was like, why? And he was just like, I'm moving to Santa Monica, so I have to.
I was supposed to have a date with a guy in Redondo Beach, and then he ghosted before the date because it was in Redondo Beach, and I was like, hey, do you want to meet like halfway in between? Because I live in the valley. And then, he just never replied.
Well, now you know most guys will go anywhere to go and get some. And a woman told me, I'm in Moreno Valley. I got the birthday suit on. Come on out here. I said, Moreno Valley. Let me look at it. It's 80 miles one way. Yeah, it ain't going to happen.
How much it costs in gas?
Yeah, it ain't going to happen. When I was younger, I probably would have rained or shine. But no. You better be at least 5-10 minutes away. If not, I'm not going.
And how much it costs, and even the cost of gas, like to put gas in your car. Like I spend money getting to work and back. That's it. I have no more gas budget. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm not going
to drive
anywhere
a Prius. Oh gosh, I need to move out of the valley.
All right. Well, since we sort of went from infrastructure into dating politics, no. It's a great segue into our final issue for today's show.
Let's talk about it.
Which an issue in two parts, if you will. Let's start from the second, just because I find this fascinating. The president this week signed a proclamation, which makes sense that he would do this because it had already been done before. But he signed a thing naming April Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. Which to me is like Hitler signing a proclamation for Be Nice to Jews Week. Just my take on it. But one of the big stories in the news this week was that Mike Pence, it was revealed, and this actually came out several years ago in a story on The Hill, but it came up again in a profile that was done on Mike Pence's wife. The vice president will not dine alone with a woman who is not his wife, and he will not go to functions where alcohol is served without his wife. This either means, A, he has no self-control whatsoever and needs to put barriers in place to him acting out on his baser needs, which some people would say this is demeaning of women somehow. I think it's demeaning of men. To say, but the other possibility is that this is just an antiquated view of women as shameless hussies who will only seduce us, which again, I think is a slam on men more than a slam on women.
If that's Mike Pence's concern that a woman would try to seduce him, just let him know that there's no concern.